All right, let's pull back the curtain on a role that is absolutely central to pretty much any modern company, the data analyst. We're going to break down what they really do, the tools they use, and, why it matters so much. So let's get into it.
So when you hear data analyst, what pops into your head? Someone just kind of staring at a screen full of numbers, right? But the reality is, it's so much more than that. The real question we need to ask is, what are they actually doing? It's not just about looking at numbers, it's about finding the story hidden inside them.
Exactly. The best way to think about a modern data analyst is as a kind of data storyteller, or maybe even a data detective. Their whole job is to sift through all the noise, find the crucial clues buried in the raw data, and then piece it all together into a story that actually makes sense. A story that can help a business make much, much smarter decisions.
But of course, before you can tell any story, you need the words. And for an analyst, the words are the raw data itself. So that's always step one. You got to get your hands on the information, which is often locked away in a company's databases. And the master key for unlocking all those databases? It's a language called SQL, that stands for Structured Query Language. You can think of it as the universal language for talking to databases. If your company's data is locked up in a vault, SQL is how the analyst gets in and grabs exactly what they need.
But here's what's so cool about SQL. It's not just a key, it's a super precise surgical tool. An analyst uses it to ask these incredibly specific questions. They can combine info from completely different places. Like joining sales data with marketing data to see if a recent ad campaign actually worked. It's all about asking the right questions in the right way to get the right data out.
Okay, so once the data is out of the database, the next big phase kicks in. And this is a huge part of the job that's often totally invisible. It's about taking that messy, chaotic, raw data and turning it into something clean, organized, and, trustworthy. It's literally forging order out of chaos.
And this slide just perfectly shows that transformation. On one side, you've got the before, data that's inconsistent, messy, spread all over the place. And on the other, the after. It's accurate, consistent, and all in one central, reliable spot. You have to do this, because without this step, any analysis you build is just sitting on a foundation of sand. So, how do analysts handle this when there are just mountains of data? Well, the process for doing this at scale is called ETL. It stands for Extract, Transform, and Load. It's basically the industrial strength method for building automated data pipelines that do all this cleaning and organizing for you.
Let's just break that down real quick. It's pretty straightforward. First, you extract the data from all the different places it lives. Then you transform it. That's the cleaning, the standardizing, getting it all into the right shape. And finally, you load that nice, clean data into one central system, like a data warehouse, where it's all ready to go.
Now, for the real hands-on work of that transform step, Python is an analyst's absolute best friend. Using these amazing libraries like Pandas and NumPy, they can basically write code to clean up huge datasets and, even better, automate all those boring, repetitive reporting tasks. It's a total game changer for efficiency.
Okay, so the data is unlocked, it's clean, it's ready. Now we get to the magic. This is the part where we actually reveal that hidden story. It's all about making the data talk in a way that regular humans can understand, and that means visualization.
And a major tool for this is Power BI. It's a business intelligence platform that lets analysts go way beyond boring old spreadsheets. They can build these living, interactive dashboards that let business leaders see their most important metrics, their KPIs, all in one place, updated in real time.
And this tool is seriously powerful. Analysts use it to map out complex relationships in the data, write their own custom formulas with this language called DAX, think of it like Excel formulas on steroids, and design dashboards that actually let people click around and explore the data for themselves. They can even lock it down so people only see the data they're supposed to. Okay, so we've seen the tools, we've seen the process. Theory is great, but let's see how this all comes together in the real world to actually make a difference. We're going to look at two quick examples.
So, for our first case, the mission was pretty straightforward, but absolutely critical. Build one central dashboard where the entire business could track sales, monitor key metrics, and see how efficiently things were running.
Does this look familiar? It should. The analyst used the exact workflow we just walked through. They used SQL to get the data, built ETL pipelines to automate the cleaning, used Python for the heavy lifting, and then brought it all to life with an interactive dashboard in Power BI.
Every single one of those steps was crucial. And the result? I mean, it was massive. Not only did leaders get better insights, but by automating those reoccurring reports, there was a 40% drop in manual effort. Think about that. That's dozens and dozens of hours freed up for the team to actually think strategically instead of just pulling numbers all day.
All right, case number 2 tackles another huge business problem: customer churn. That's just a fancy way of saying customers leaving. The goal here was to use data to actually predict which customers were about to leave, and then figure out how to convince them to stay.
Now, this is where things get really cool, because the analyst took it a step further. After doing all the usual SQL and Python work, they started looking for patterns in customer behavior and even built predictive models to flag customers who were a high risk for churning. So the final dashboard wasn't just reporting on the past, it was helping predict the future.
And you guessed it, the impact on efficiency was incredible. Automating all that complex monthly churn reporting led to a 45% reduction in manual work. This is the kind of tangible value a great analyst delivers: better insights delivered faster, so the business can actually do something to keep its customers happy. So let's tie this all together now. When you zoom out and look at the whole process, you start to see where the real, ultimate value of a data analyst lies. It's their ability to manage this entire end-to-end data journey.
And this is the modern data analyst's toolkit. It's this powerful mix of deep technical skill in things like SQL, Python, and Power BI, combined with a real strategic understanding of what the business actually needs, like monitoring KPIs and even looking into the future with predictive analytics.
And really, it all comes down to this. This quote on the screen just says it all perfectly. A skilled data analyst doesn't just give you a report with numbers. They transform that raw, messy data into actionable insights. The kind of insights that lead to smarter, better decisions. They're the bridge from data to decision.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Pretty much every company out there is sitting on a mountain of data. The real question that a great analyst helps you answer is this: what amazing, game-changing story is just sitting there, waiting to be told in your data? Thanks for tuning in.